We are here for the fifth and final game, the Dignity Saver, if you will. Potential Dignity Saver. And I have mulligan to 6 and have an awkward hand, but it is one that could reasonably come together, so I am going to keep.
My hand is also a little awkward, but should be fine.
Scry. That is not what we need at all. Put the land on the bottom. And I will play this.
Ooh, wow. Then I drew Jace. My hand's great now. Your turn.
I will play Cinder Barons and Duress you.
Well, it doesn't take Jace.
Every time you say your hand is bad, you just draw Jace, and then it's great.
Well, I usually keep medium hands with Jace, and then turns out my hand's great.
So you have so I either get Just the Wind or Deadweight?
Yep.
I will take the Deadweight. You can go. We still have your lands coming to play tapped.
Yeah, my hand is definitely awkward.
Casually draws Island.
It's interesting. I guess I just play this and reveal Sunken Hollow. Go. Probably no reason to sit on that.
I'm going to play Foreboding Ruins, Real Mountain, and To the Slaughter You.
Okay.
You can go. Given that he has Just the Wind, I'd rather just kill his Jace rather than let him get a loot and bounce whatever creature we play.
Play Silent Visitor, Sunken Hollow, go.
Reveal this mountain you know about. Play an Olivia.
Yep.
You can go.
Tag.
Take 3. 17.
Play that. Pass.
Play an air.
I'll respond.
Discard to the air. Attack for 4.
Sure.
You're at 16.
Yep.
You can go.
Play Draw's Masterpiece.
So 5/5.
5/5.
Okay.
And pass the turn. Could attack, but seems a little risky.
Get that draw to be good. Okay, Olivia.
Yep.
You can go.
That's good. And that's not very good. Yeah, we'll just make it Jace. Your turn.
Not sure if I even want to play that.
Silent Visitor, so close.
So I can draw. If I draw Ob Nixilis, I would like to have this in play. If I draw a Concoction, I would. It doesn't. I would like to. It doesn't really matter. It does because it can attack into the 3/1. Yeah, so I'd just rather have it in play. Air.
Yep.
I won't discard anything to it. You can go. Getting a counter on my guy does not seem worth giving Michael a card.
Don't think we're blocking with Jace, so I'll just go ahead and activate. And I'll discard Drown Your Temple. Play Evolving Wilds. Maybe I shouldn't play land, actually. Yeah, I'm just not going to play land. And pass the turn.
I've seen better draws. You can go.
So we can put Drown Your Temple into play, but that would eliminate our ability to activate Jace and flip him unless we play this Evolving Wilds. But I guess that just gives us more options, so we might as well just do it. So I'll just put that in the battlefield. Okay, that's not terrible. Isn't actually clear whether we want to flip our Jace, since we're kind of not really doing anything, and Ross also isn't doing anything. If we don't flip and don't get a plus, and Ross draws a removal spell, then we trade off with Incorrigible Use, and we have this to cover that. We could take 5, potentially a little bit more. Maybe the best option is just to play my Evolving Wilds and leave up the option of flipping Jace. I think I actually like... Oh, that doesn't do anything, because then we... Huh. Not sure what I'm supposed to do. I guess I'll just go ahead and commit to flipping. That's probably fine. I'll go ahead and deadweight your heir. Activate Jace. Discard Evolving Wilds. Transform. Tick up on Olivia and pass the turn.
Once again, putting a counter on this doesn't really do much. So I'll pass.
Okay.
Maybe my plan should have been to empty my hand, make you draw a bunch of cards with the visitor, hope they're all lands, and then your masterpiece gets small.
Well, I would have drawn a bunch of lands, so your plan would have worked out.
Would have been a risky plan.
Yeah.
But I'm getting crushed in every game, so...
Take up on Olivia, your turn. I want to leave 3 cards in my hand for Draw's Masterpiece.
Yeah. Really wish this card were... Ruinous Path. Oh, actually.
Ross figured it out.
Yeah, I can discard this land.
Yeah.
I'll flip the heir. There we go. Now I'm just really happy that it's to the slaughter. Okay, Jace and your Silent Visitor.
No, I'll get these.
And you have 3 cards in your hand?
Yes.
Oh, you just left... Oh, because you can just get the Masteries back. Sure.
Yep.
And now... don't think I want to trade with the youths, but I'm fine trading the Bloodseeker.
All right, no blocks. Take 5.
This is, hold on. Might make it 7 and make... If his plan is just to get back Messenger and then replay it next turn. This is bringing him to 9. He'll draw a card on my upkeep. I guess he'll draw a card on his upkeep too.
This is shrunk, by the way.
Yeah. I can make it 7 by
gotcha,
pitching a card here.
Yeah.
Again, just trying to get as much damage in as I can and just maybe make the visitor kill you at some point. I do kind of want to leave a card in my hand in case I draw a concoction for the messenger the next turn, though. So I'll just have you take 5.
Okay.
You're at 11. You can go.
Discard these 3 lands, return Masterpiece, to
Yep.
the battlefield tap. My upkeep, I'll lose life, draw a card.
You're 10.
Not terrible. Play Jace. Pass. You still have the 1 card, okay.
Yeah. Needed that draw to be good, and it was not. At this point, could just summons the one creature in my graveyard.
Air fucking Wrath.
Yeah.
Well, if I transform it,
4/3.
it goes under your control, right?
I don't think so. It's the same game object. It's not like Jace that exiles and comes back transformed.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It would just be like taking someone's Huntmaster. You can flip that. You can make it a 5/4 flyer. Could probably start pressuring me then.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get around to that at some point.
How can I deal 10 more damage? If I just jam with all my things.
You can play all of your cards and have a Silent Visitor give me the slow bleed.
Yeah, well, thing is, if I attack with all my things, you trade here, and you eat Olivia, and you probably just leave yourself with... You might jump with Jace.
And then I'll assemble my combo of 5/5 Olivia, and then you're dead.
And then you'd be at 4. And... You'd be at 4, and then you'd untap... Yeah, make a 5/5 Olivia. You have one card in hand?
I have one card.
Yeah, and then eventually maybe we're just you'd have the Masterpiece in play. I'd have 2 guys, you'd have 2 guys. How could I deal 4 damage? I could run a runner the last 2 Fire Tempers in my deck. You would have to try to play. You'd have to play a little slow to play through to play around more incorrigible youths. And if I drew discard, like removal spells, I could conceivably win. Yeah, let's just do it. Jam.
To slaughter you.
That's not good. You're at 7.
Yep.
You can go.
That's pretty good. Activate.
Yep.
Transform. I guess we can just see what we hit. Hit another summons. Just the wind. I'll just tick up on this and attack you for 7.
10.
Go. Yep.
You can go.
My upkeep. You go to 9.
Yep.
Anything before I draw?
Nope.
Let's see. I don't think there's any way to, like... Could take, like, his youths. He'll chump block Masterpiece. Then he has to chump block another thing. I'll just go ahead and adjust the wind there. Attack.
Yep.
Okay. All right, back here for the conclusion of Blue-Black Reanimator versus Red-Black Madness Vampires. Ross might say you would be mad to play Vampires.
Yeah, the deck did not do anything.
So what I told Ross off camera, and I think it's worth saying again, is that it is inherently an issue to try to build synergy decks without the entire spoiler, because you never know if you're just like missing a piece or two that might inevitably be in the set that could like make the deck really good. But what are your thoughts on the deck?
Well, the downside of Olivia being this sort of mopey creature until you untap with it, needing a lot of things to go right for it to look really good, and being easy to overrate because when things go well, it looks really good, but that's generally overkill came to fruition. It really just didn't do anything. The deck's like base creatures, a lot of the 2-drops just didn't seem impactful enough as individual cards, and I didn't have a low enough curve to be able to really get under your removal. Your dead weights and just the winds were matched up excellently against my creatures, and I never really had an answer to any big creature that you put in play. I had a few in my deck, probably needed a lot more, probably needed 8 or 9 when I only had 6 after sideboard. So, and even then, like I would just need a nice curve of things and to answer your thing and hope that big thing you put into play wasn't an Atarka. Like you never even had a game where you just went like turn 4 demon, turn 5 necromantic summons my Atarka, like wipe your board, which was something I was very afraid of. That didn't happen. So you would think that I would be advantaged in that case, and instead I was horrifically disadvantaged.
So what I take away from looking at that red-black deck is maybe you, at least in its current form with the information we have, you can't build like the all-in synergy red-black vampires deck. Like you're trying to have everything kind of like be cohesive and work together, and all your creatures like had madness or madness enablers, and maybe you just need to like play Olivia, play Incorrigible Use. I think that's like the best madness vampire.
Yeah,
and then
that seemed like the best card in the deck actually.
And then just like build like a more standalone powerful collection of cards around those 2 synergies, and maybe a little bit of overarching synergies. Like you could still play Gorger as your 1-drop because that card's just legitimately good. Like the rate is solid and the ability is going to come up. But maybe like Reckless Bloodsucker. I thought the Delver Vampire Falkenrath Heir was not as good as I thought it would be. Obviously, like I'm a deck with deadweight and that's relevant, but still, I was a little surprised.
And all your creatures fly, so when you played a big thing to block, my 3/2 never flew over it. It wasn't like you were playing Dark Dwellers or some other ground creature.
I think maybe of the sorry guys, names, the B enchantment that you can mill a card, discard a card.
Yeah, that card was good. There should be more of them. Naturally.
Yeah, I think that could be a card that you even talked about it. Maybe should just be in the main deck. Like maybe instead of having these like anemic creatures as madness enablers, you can have stuff like that as your madness enablers.
Yeah.
And then you could just play good creatures, some incidental stuff like that, Olivia, Incorrigible Use. Because even hard cast Incorrigible Use, like obviously that's not what you want to do, but like the card is not dead in your hand.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. It definitely seems like you need to move away from being super focused. I agree with you there. And just find the bits and pieces that were the best and surround them with better individual cards and have a deck that like, occasionally madnesses for value just to get ahead as part of its normal game plan, but isn't focused around assembling an engine.
Yep. As for the Reanimator deck, trying not to be biased because of, the performance there was clearly good. Obviously, the deck lined up well. The removal was nice. Having this kind of end game that actually just ends the game is not really what I would expect out of this Reanimator deck. I wouldn't expect the first Atarka to kill all of my opponents. Yeah. It would just like clean up the board, put me ahead, force them to be, very light on resources once they've dealt with it, and then I can start to pull ahead with like a Masterpiece or more Jace activations or things along those lines.
Yeah, or just an Oath or Pour Over the Pages.
Yeah. But like the deck felt cohesive and what it was doing seemed powerful enough.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed by it. You were able to just sort of seamlessly go through the first 3 or 4 turns, answering some things, and lay one threat, and sort of sit behind it, get ahead, and then end the game within 2 turns once you got far enough into your deck to find a win condition.
As much as I was joking about it, of destroying you with your own 5/5 Olivia, like the fact that Necromantic Summons is just serviceable for taking your opponent's creatures, which you want to kill anyways, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you just make a big dude.
The +2/+2 is definitely relevant because my 5/5 Olivia brickwalled all your things.
Can you imagine Necromantic summoning your opponent's Goblin Dark Dwellers?
Wow.
And then like grasping their guy.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually is a nice segue into you can do it with To the Slaughter, and that card was really good. Both times.
It was actually good for me too.
Yeah, you killed my Jace and my Asylum Visitor, Draw's Masterpiece.
Yep.
And I killed your Obnixilis and your Falkenrath there.
Yeah.
That was flipped. And That's just disgusting.
Yeah, both times it was great. That was something I noticed as well. Delirium was a lot easier to achieve than I had initially anticipated.
Yep.
Like looking at the spoiler, being a 4/5 or a 4/5 goif is how I have it in my head. It's like how easy is
The
it?
Mind Rack Demon.
No, Delirium. It's like having a 4/5
Oh,
goif.
I see what you're saying. I got
So
you.
I think in my head, how easy is it to have a 4/5 Tarmogoyf? And in Legacy, like that's just sort of the norm, but that's a format with fetch lands. And without fetch lands, it seems like the norm would be 3/4. But because of things like Anticipate or of Deadweight, they rhyme, so I got them confused.
They
in my
do
head.
rhyme, yeah. I can't even blame you for that one.
Because of things like Deadweight and
Evolving Wilds.
and Jace and a lot of the looting effects that exist in the format, it'll be a lot easier to get that to go from 3 to 4.
Yep.
So the difference between 3 and 4 has been closed by some of the effects around it, which I'm sure is not an accident.
Yeah, it's like they thought that this was an achievable but difficult goal.
Yeah, something you got to put a little bit of work towards, but there's some payoff. The 3 mana kill your planeswalker and your creature. I think if that card becomes ubiquitous, we have to sideboard in completely different ways against.
Yeah, I agree.
Control decks.
Yeah.
This plan of like bringing in some planeswalkers and like slamming that with your
Used to be
creature, it sounded awesome, and now it is horrific.
I think Ross likes to deal with hyperbole only. It's his only speed, but horrific is a little strong. But I do think To the Slaughter is going to be an awesome card, and I do think that people will have to adjust to it. I agree with that.
Next week you can play To the Slaughter, and I'll show up with 4 Hangerback Walker.
And Hangerback Walker is another thing I wanted to mention. It's another creature that's going to see a lot of play that wasn't in the 2 decks that we played today, but is not 2 creature types, but an artifact and a creature, which contributes nicely to Delirium too.
Yep. Hangerback Walker's still great.
Yeah, the card's still going to be good. There's going to be less Reflector Mages, probably more Dromoka's Commands, which that card's great with. 2 types for Delirium.
Jesus, there's so many things to do.
Yeah,
I have so many ideas for next week
There's
now.
a lot of room to explore. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with my deck. Draw's Masterpiece.
A lot less fun with my deck.
Yes.
But, you live and you learn. That's the point. Like when you brew with new decks, I think it's important to just sort of try out what is right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did this week. It did not work out. So you move on to other things, or you do as we said and try to figure out what small pieces have some potential, and then build it in a very different way around those pieces. And that would be sort of, rather than building around them per se, it would be just inserting them into a more normal looking, more aggressive deck,
right,
and just using them as powerful cards in their own right that have synergy with each other, but don't necessarily need to have synergy with 70 of your 75 cards.
Exactly. The last thing I wanted to touch on was that Draw's Masterpiece really impressed me, just as a big flying idiot, but also can be a engine enabler and is actually a tough threat to deal with. There have been some exile effects printed. Angelic something was spoiled literally a couple hours ago, so I don't remember exactly the name, but you sacrifice a permanent exile target creature, enchantment, or artifact for 2 and a white.
And there's the black-white gold card that can do it as well.
Black-white gold card, which I think is very overrated for the record, but I guess that's another discussion. And then Declaration in Stone.
Yep. So there are some ways to exile it, but I don't know if it really enabled your engine so much, but what I liked about it was how it just gave you inevitability. It was this thing that if I didn't kill you, it was going to kill me, and it was really tough for me to kill you through it. So that's usually a good combo.
Usually.
It's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely have a ton of ideas that I want to keep exploring. I think Ross is probably in the same boat, especially after this week. But Shadows over Innistrad Standard looks to be awesome, and we're excited to keep showing off new stuff, and we're learning as you're learning. We get a week off this weekend?
We do.
That's pretty awesome.
I think it's my first week off since the last pre-release, which are like normal weeks off where you're not traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, it might be my first week off since like July.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
I play a lot of Magic.
Usually this is our time to tell you to check us out on SG Live or go to a tournament, but yeah, just take it easy.
Let's brew with some new cards.
Yeah.
Pre-order some sweet ones, figure out what's good, pre-order them while they're not a lot of money. That always happens, and I never do it. And then I lament it like 2 weeks later.
Try to figure out how to build 3-color mana bases with your friends. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, try to figure out how to play vampires because I don't know how to do it.
Maybe you need paler skin and spikier hair.
Okay, I'll show up next week with bleached skin and spiked hair.
Okay. But you don't want to play vampires next week, I thought.
Oh, true. No, I'll just run it back. I did it with elves for 2 weeks in a row. We can do it with vampires.
All right, reasonable. All right.
I'm not going to run it back with vampires. There's too much cool stuff to look at. But I am going to have bleached skin and spiked hair just to spite you, which seems like a bad way of going about that.
Yeah, I don't actually think I would feel anything.
You would probably feel comedy as you laugh at me when I sit down across from you.
Yeah, you would. Yes. I just hope you don't die of like lead poisoning or whatever are the consequences of that.
Okay, I'll try not to. I'll find some locally sourced, responsibly grown skin bleach. Is that even a thing?
We're done.
Okay, we've gone off the deep end.
All right.
That's our cue to exit. We don't have a tournament this weekend, so
Get some brunch. Hang out with your family.
It is Easter weekend.
It is Easter weekend.
So yeah, get some brunch, hunt for some eggs, and come back next week and join us where hopefully I will have a better deck. Or Michael will have a worse deck.
And hopefully I smush him anyways. Thanks for watching, guys.